large grocery store that I worked with that has a bakery department. And one of the big challenges that they were faced with was figuring out why sales were slumping year over year. When I came into this picture, what we were discussing was that people are thinking about bakery different. Consumer behavior is changing. People are trying to be healthier, watching what they're eating. And what the bakery offers, of course, is not that. It's, high carb, high sugar, and unhealthy, indulgent items. And what the bakery department was doing was to correct the sales trend, was to put in items that were healthier. They were looking for gluten-free options, sugar-free, light sugar, things that they can do that is going to help bring more health into those bakery departments. After several months of doing this, finding new products, putting them into store, they were still slumping in sales. No new customers were coming to the bakery department. They weren't increasing the transaction size of the current bakery shopper. And even though consumers were telling them, they were doing this research with consumers that they wanted to eat healthier, it wasn't working. So when we worked together, we were thinking about how might we diagnose this problem in a cost-effective way, in a way that we can do something that was going to be more reliable and give us certainty that we were solving the right problem. So what we wound up doing was doing a qualitative research project. We can do this one-on-one, doing in-depth interviews and really understanding what were the challenges they're facing and getting to a deeper level of insight. What we learned was that shoppers really didn't want to eat healthy. And what we were doing is we were taking these shoppers, we were going into the stores with them, walking the bakery department. They would look at the tables, take their shopping cart and tell me, okay, well, yeah, they got some bread over here. I like to feel the bread because I want to see what's crunchy, what's not. I look at the dessert options, but nothing is really too appealing. And we just kind of leave the bakery department and keep on shopping the store. Now, the key here is that we kept on shopping the store, because what I kept on noticing when we were shopping stores with them is that they kept on going down this one particular aisle after the bakery department. They were going down the snacks and cookie aisle in the grocery stores. And lo and behold, every single time we would go down this aisle, they would be putting Oreos or Teddy Grahams or something sweet in their cart. Now, when we're in the bakery, nothing was appetizing, was a key insight for us. Even though they were saying that they wanted to eat healthy, when that moment when they were putting those cookies in the cart, like, okay, tell me a little bit more about this, right? You said that you wanted to eat healthy, that you were looking for healthier options for your family, but now you're putting Oreos. And like, well, yeah, of course. I mean, we do need to have something indulgent every once in a while. When you put the two together, you hear, okay, I want healthier options. Not really the case, because they still were indulging. They were getting that fix not from the bakery department. They were getting it from the center of the store. So why are you getting it from center of store? We go back to that insight where nothing's really appealing here. That was the key for us, is like, oh my gosh, okay, so the bakery is missing on being appealing. We went back to the bakery department and started looking around, saying, why is it not appealing with these consumers? And they were saying, I don't think this is really even made here. These cookies are in this plastic clamshell container, but I have no evidence that this is made here. Or they'll see the cakes that were sitting out on the table and notice that they were wet from the freezer, that they were still thawing out. There were key signs that were showing them that this was not fresh and wasn't worth the indulgence. And they were going with the tried and true. They were going with the Oreo cookies. That made us think a lot differently about the things that we were doing. So now, instead of saying, hey, bakery department, you need to think about how are you going to provide healthier options to consumers, and completely threw that hypothesis out. That was disproven. And we started thinking about how can we make the bakery department more appealing? What we realized was that when we looked at the operations plan of the bakery departments, that early in the morning was the time that we needed to get everything done. The bakers were going full force at 4 a.m. in the morning, cooking the cookies and the bread and all that other stuff. It was all getting done in the morning. So this way it can have time to cool down and then be packaged and put on the sales floor before customers got there at around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Instead of making everything early in the morning, we're going to hold back on one product. And that was the chocolate chip cookie. Because the chocolate chip cookie is such a desirable smell, it showcases what bakeries are really made of, right? It is all about that sugar, that sweetness, and the chocolate chip cookie is something that highlights that smell. So if we were to make cookies at around 11 o'clock and at 4 o'clock, you're hitting the lunch rush and the dinner rush of the stores when you have the most volume of customers coming into the store. And if you're cooking off those chocolate chip cookies at those times when customers are walking through the bakery department, it's going to give them a smell that's going to stop them in their tracks and give them the evidence that everything in that bakery is fresh. It has that halo effect, right? So it's not just that the chocolate chip cookies are made there fresh, but everything in the bakery must be fresh, even if you're still pulling cakes out of the freezer. That changed the way that they were approaching the issue in the bakery department of that slumping sales, and helped correct their slumping sales.